So, we are moving right along,
Yes.
and I'd love to introduce another beautiful guest that we have.
Yes.
Of course, in honor of National Women's
Women's-
Month, right? So we have an International Women's Day, which was March 8th, but it is Women's Month, all month long, 31 days. So we are going to do our due diligence and introduce to you beautiful women around. And our first most beautiful guest is Dr. Karla Hylton-Dixon. And, we're really talking about survival to sovereignty and how women rise after the collapse. And so Dr. Karla Dixon holds a PhD in biotechnology, y'all, biotechnology, and is a multi-award winning author, over 15 books, a transformational mental health coach. Yes, she's speaking my language. Keynote speaker and the founder of Women Who Emerge. Women Who Emerge. And it's a global global movement helping women rise from survival into sovereignty. And she also has experienced the darkness of suicidal thoughts and emotional abuse. And she's going to talk a little bit about that, share that with us, and tell us how important it is for mental health, mental awareness, and most importantly, how we emerge. So with that being said, we welcome Dr. Karla Hylton-Dixon.
Thank you so much,
welcome,
ladies.
welcome.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. So we talked about napping at the beginning, right? Do you nap or have you napped?
I do rest at about, I usually take about 30 minutes to rest in the middle of the day because I wake up early, like about 5 o'clock. And after I have lunch, I find that settles me so I can start the next half of the day, so to speak.
Oh, well, that's, actually they do say napping for at least 20 minutes, just recharge your body. I just love sleep, so I'm upset and angry when I wake up after 20 minutes. I got to figure out how to get around that, but thank you for sharing that. And so tell us, did you think about or celebrate International Women's Day?
Oh, I did. I actually went to a fantastic Women's Day event. International Women's Day is personal for me. Bittersweet because I know what it is to be a woman who almost did not make it to another day, let alone a day of celebration. And as you mentioned, there was a season in my life when I was in so much pain. Emotional abuse, identity loss, a complete collapse of everything I thought I was, that I wanted out. So twice I stood at that edge. And so every March 8th, I am reminded that I almost missed all of this. The movement, the books, the women I now get to walk beside, such as yourselves. So it's not just a celebration, it's a resurrection story.
Oh, that's beautifully said.
That.
It is a
Yes.
resurrection
Yes,
story.
the resurrection story.
Yes.
Goodness.
Very appropriate.
Wow.
So, go ahead.
Emerge. Emerge. Because she's written so many books.
15
Books.
Where did you find the time?
Yes.
Okay, well, I should clarify that some of those 15 books are children books, right?
Still
So
books.
they were easier to write, they're,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So I would want to
Yes.
say that I have 5 adult books, so to speak, And I found that, I want to say writing found me.
Yes.
I've always been writing, but never thought of it to be a career, so to speak,
Interesting.
I remember at 16 years old winning an essay competition nationally and receiving money as a prize. And at that
wow.
time, how
Interesting.
long ago that was. And I still didn't think that was my calling. I went into science, So I see how God has just pushed me
Yes.
from one thing to the other and has led me into the world of writing.
So
it
writing
you.
found her. I like that.
Did you like to read a lot?
Oh, yes, that I
Is that
did do.
usual?
I was always had my nose in a book. My family members would tell me they never saw me without a book in front of me.
Very nice.
I have a son that was a reader too. My husband and I, what's wrong with him? He's washing dishes and has the book on the windowsill.
No. Let me tell you that reading is fundamental, because I too have a goddaughter, the middle child of the group, and she would pack her backpack to go on a trip.
And the book is in there.
The book is in there, and guess what? No clothes, probably. So they knew, her mother knew, finding that out the hard way, knew better. When they're going away, check her bag. Her book bag is going to have books, so she have to pack her clothes in hers. It's just a given. And this young lady she reads all the way. She read all the way up through college and is still reading. So reading is fundamental. But emerge, I kind of like that word, and I'm gonna keep saying it. But emerge, because you went from here, the dark space, to where you are, this beautiful person, radiant, and just having so much to offer the world. Wow, emerge.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. Where did emerge come from? How did you birth emerge? Emerge.
Okay, having been through so many experiences in life, and as you said, in the darkest of places, I survived, right? Now, most women I find live in survival mode. They do not actually realize what they're missing. You know, they are surviving, they wake up, they do what they need to do, but there is no joy, no purpose, no happiness. When you are in survival mode, your mind is focused on getting you through the day. Your emotional energy is spent managing pain, avoiding conflict, just keeping your life stable. But I think that needs to change, and that is what I want to change, and that's how I came up with the whole emerge. We want to own our power as women, not just wake up and say, oh, another day, but have a purpose to move forward. You know, deal with whatever is going on inside the mind and go out and show that you are capable. And so I believe women are always emerging. Each day we can do better than the last day.
What was it, the moment, if you can recall or wouldn't mind sharing, is that you emerged? Because you had to do a lot of work inside. And what helped you to emerge?
It wasn't a quick process. It was a blend of faith. There was a lot of faith, a little science as well. Let's not forget that I am a scientist,
Yes.
so that I do think with the scientist mind.
Yeah.
And of course, the inner work to personally transform. Faith kept me alive. I should not have been alive. Obviously, waking up in ICU, there was a greater purpose. There was something greater than me that caused me to live when I should not have. And the healing work took some time until I learned to set down what was in the past. I couldn't carry it with me. I have been through emotional abuse, the sorrow, the heartbreak of children estranging themselves from me. And I had to set it down, move away from that, send love to them at all times. My arms are wide open whenever they choose to return. But I still have to make something of myself, because I could not have been saved to just be surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that. You could not have been saved to just survive. There are folks that are watching, listening, and they're on that cusp of saying, you know what? Children are gone. The spouse is gone. Everyone's gone. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. But when we get back, we want to delve into that space where, what would you say to that person who's listening or watching?
Okay.
So we'll be right back after this break. Thank
Okay.
you. So, welcome back. And let's just delve a little bit into the question that I asked before the break. What does it look like? And you would share with the audience. What does it really look like that you would say to them, do not go there. It will be okay. Mm-hmm. You know, you have lost everything. But the fact that God saw it fit, keep you alive. Okay? Not mentally stable, probably not physically stable, because your mind, your emotions affect everything. That person that's watching and saying, you know what, I'm done, I'm checking out. What would you say to encourage them today?
I would want to tell them that, you know, I see you, I understand, you feel exhausted, you feel disconnected, you feel as if there is no purpose. But just sit with it, perhaps journal, do something, release the emotions, and just know that you were not placed on this earth just to exist. Mm-hmm. There was a purpose. Yeah. So one foot in front of the other. Yeah. You know, smile even when you don't want to smile.
It really changes,
you know,
up the energy, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. It does. Dance, put on something uplifting. Personally, I find that music helps a lot to listen to uplifting music. You know, it helps to lift the spirit. And search until you find that purpose that you were sent on earth to do.
Absolutely. And you're a mental health coach. Is your experience is what moved you into doing?
Definitely. It was not something that I actually set out to do, but persons, after writing the first book, they started to call and they wanted to know more information, and I wrote a workbook, and I found that persons were drawn to me. And I think unconsciously, perhaps, they could recognize that I have walked in their shoes.
What's the name of that book?
The Unvarnished Truth, Purpose in the Pain, that's my memoir, and the workbook that goes along with it is Vanquishing Monsters.
Vanquishing Monsters.
Yes.
That's powerful, because I've got them, and let me tell you, if you don't have it, repeat the names of those books for those who need to hear it, need to get it, need to get into it, because there's that workbook that goes with that.
Right. The memoir is called The Unvarnished Truth, Purpose in the Pain, and the workbook that goes along with it is Vanquishing Monsters. Both available on Amazon.
All right.
Absolutely,
So
yes.
definitely we'll check that out.
You know, it says you're really living proof that your darkest seasons, Dr. Karla, can become your greatest authority.
Yes.
You are proof of that. You really are. You certainly are proof of that. Because, I mean, science, but you've mixed science with dancing, with music, encouraging yourself from that dark space. And you know what? There are people who are still saying, they're still in doubt, because in their minds, I can't move from where I am. God forbid. And they have gone through losses. They've lost their loved ones, their child, their spouse, lost a job, whatever. And how do you just get up and just keep moving? A lot of people tend to, if I may, tend to get into that little hole, crawl into that space and stay there.
Yeah.
And that is what we don't want to do. We want to get out, because you're scared of telling people that I'm in a dark spot, I'm in a dark space. I'm in a space where I can't get out.
Yes.
And that is a tough part, because you came out of it. but look at how close you got to not coming out of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
yes.
once,
Twice.
Oh, yes. I'm
you know, and so it's,
In
it's,
the
it's,
hospital.
it's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, all the stigma, especially in certain cultures, that's like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
What do you mean you can't get up? You're lazy. You know,
Yes.
you know, what do she? You know, or
Yes,
and,
definitely.
you know, don't follow them mighty, and you know the things that they say around mental health. I think that's one of the things where it's important for you to be able to mentor and to coach those.
Right.
And to be able to teach signs and symptoms. I know that's what I do. And that's one of the ways that we can raise awareness. I'd like to ask you the difference between survival and sovereignty. What does that mean to you?
Okay. Surviving is really just getting up, doing your daily task,
Yeah.
you know, just doing what you're supposed to do with not any joy per se. You know, you have to go to work at 9. You go to work, you do what you need to do, and you come home and there is no joy. Sovereignty now refers to you now owning your power. Doing, not worrying about what the other person says, owning yourself, you know, knowing who you are and what you bring to the table, and expanding on that. Going to, if you have a 9 to 5, you go to work at 9 and you do it with joy and you walk and you strut yourself, you know, and you own your power. That is what I think is the difference between survival and sovereignty. And for a long time, I was in survival mode. There was no joy on my face. I did not smile.
Did people
Right.
say things to you? Were people saying that your attitude or?
No, they do know. People, in my case, they did know I was depressed. They knew what I had gone through at that point, you know. And they did try to cheer you up, and they did try to say, oh, but you have this going on or you have that going on, but that was never enough. And it is a personal decision, you know, to rise from that space. And unfortunately, it's easy for me to say it, but it's much harder to actually do. And it does take work.
And that's
Wow.
where you also need your circle of support, right?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Family support, friends. You need to be supported by people who are not constantly telling you, but look at what you have to be grateful for. I know they say that with the best of intention, okay? The best of intention, but it does not make things better. You know, sometimes they just need to sit with the person. They're not saying anything, just sit with them, you know? So, you know, there's a lot to mental health, as you would know, right? You know?
There's a lot they say also that without speaking, a lot is said in silence.
Yes.
And I believe that sometimes people just need to know that, you know what, I'm here for you. I don't want any advice. Don't tell me what I need to do. I don't want to hear it because I've heard it from everyone else. Just shut it and listen to me right there in silence. Just watch me. Just be with me.
Right.
Be available to me. And that's what a lot of people are looking for. Non-judgmental. And I'm going to say this because you've used them and I know they work for you and they work for so many others. But there is a thing, and I just met someone who's amazing, but she has had church hurt. And I know this is a big topic, but I'm just telling you because there are people who, and I've done it, go from one church, you get there and you feel you're acclimated and you're great, everything is going well. And someone rubs you the wrong way or something happens and you're like, oh, there it is, I'm gone. And so people do that. So you become that rat on the wheel and you go there to get healed, but you're just running. You're just running. Sometimes what would you say to that person that's running like I've run before? Because there is such a thing as church hurt. Speak to that.
You know, you have to know your own beliefs, and the Bible is there. That's a hard question, Sharon. You know, it depends on the circumstances, and maybe you might need to change it, church. Not putting that out, but I think you have to study the Bible on your own, interpret it for yourself. You cannot always rely on somebody else. And I think, the Holy Spirit is there, and it will speak to you and help you to interpret. Because, the Bible is written it can be difficult to interpret, but you have to use your own discernment, right? And if it is that folks in church are rubbing on you the wrong way, then avoid such a situation. Avoid it. Don't keep yourself in a situation that is uncomfortable.
As you said, it may be hard to do because familiarity.
Yes.
I did have two questions for you, because you talked about emotional abuse. What does emotional abuse look like?
Okay, I think everybody's familiar with what physical abuse looks like. So you're hit, you're battered. But when you're battered on the inside, that is what is referred to as emotional abuse. So, for example, in my first marriage, I was always put down. Despite my degrees, I was always so insecure because I didn't think I was bright enough. I never did anything correctly. There was always a fault being found. I was called names sometimes. In my case, I was separated from friends, so to speak, while I was never told blatantly, you should not be friends with X. It was implied, right? And so you lived in this cage where there was just no freedom, right? And just the way you're spoken to, the tone of voice, the silence that sometimes comes, all of those are forms of emotional abuse. And so people like me who are recovering, when somebody raises their voice to you, it affects you because you're brought right back. Even if that person who is raising the voice might not mean any harm, but, I call it the flinch, right? You will flinch because you're brought right back to that situation. So, I am here to tell you that it's always ongoing, an ongoing healing, right? Because I could be here happy and something triggers and you are brought right back into that space of sorrow. You're reminded of something, even if that other person didn't really mean it that way,
Because your body reacts to it.
It does.
Body.
The body
Yes.
does. The body. It's just
The
like
body
children.
remembers,
Yeah.
you see. The body remembers, the mind remembers, yes.
That's crazy because when you're in an abusive situation, it's like anything else. A child, an animal, whatever, you see the monster coming because that's a monster
Yes.
to you. And you see that monster, you hear the monster coming. They just have to hit the door because I've heard of horror stories like that. And as soon as he or she hits the door, because guess what? It's more women that are affected by abuse. But we are not downplaying the fact that men are also abused.
Yes.
And there are many men who are macho and big and strong and powerful and don't want to share it. They will rather die with that secret. So, while I heard you saying that, Dr. Karla, I appreciate your openness, your candor. And I just want to say that in my little estimation, I feel as though a lot of people what they say, hurt people.
Yes.
So when people tend to be abusive and loud and mean and, they are pretty much living in a bubble themselves, in a cage, because that cage, that they can't contain themselves. So what they do, they find a victim and they poke at them and they try to belittle them because it makes them feel powerful and strong. And so we have to be able to identify that, because the abusers typically, for the most part, isolate. So you said a few things that I saw, I heard it loudly. Isolation. So we have women and men watching, listening, and we just want to share with them listen, if that is happening, because it happens too frequently, it freaks me out sometimes.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. And I get very anxious about it because I want to do something about it. Because I've seen people, you see a young man, for example, meets a young lady. She's beautiful. She's the best thing. But guess what? He disappears from his family. We're like, hey, we don't see George anymore.
Right.
Paul is gone. What is happening? Oh, he met Susie. And so they got married. And now Susie's saying, well, you're spending more time over there eating with your mom and dad. And that is, how would you encapsulate that? What would you say about that? What would you call that, Dr. Karla?
I'm
How would you
thinking
refer-
that that person is insecure, right? There's a lot of insecurity in terms of feeling loved by that person, and therefore tries to keep the person to themselves because they feel as if there's not enough love, perhaps. I'm not the expert, but
they're
you know, I'm
married.
thinking
But
that.
they're married. And
Yes.
He's still stopping by mom and dad, having dinner before he comes home to his family because, you know,
Is
That's
there
just
enough
because-
communication, though?
And this could be
Communication.
As you said, survival, attachment. There's so many things that could be variables that can go along with that. But it also could be, to speak with what Dr. Karla was saying, it could be also a form of emotional abuse as well. And so this is where even in a marriage, you feel there can be loneliness. You know, even if you're married and have people around you. So it is learning about sovereignty. And so with that being said, Sharon, and I'm glad you talked about men, because I think a lot of men are emotionally abused
Yeah.
by women, putting them down, financial abuse, and we don't talk about it as much.
Yes.
But with what Sharon said, what is the art of emergence? What does it look like in a woman's everyday life?
Okay. The art of emergence is the steps that one is going to take to move from mere survival to actually sovereignty. So I do have a framework. I don't have it in front of me right now, but I do have a framework that goes through how persons emerge. Actually, I'm seeing it right now. Because you see, emergence is deeply intentional. And that is where we have to bring women. Women need to reach the stage where they actually want to come out of just surviving. Unfortunately, that's the difficult part. Moving them from merely surviving to wanting to move upwards. So it does involve reflection, emotional awareness, and courage. It is very courageous to rebuild parts of your life that no longer align with who you are becoming. So for me personally, the art of emergence meant transforming my pain, which was a whole lot, pain into purpose. It meant taking those difficult chapters of my life and allowing them to become the foundation for my work to help other women. And perhaps that was the reason I was saved, you know? And so emergence does not mean perfection. It does not require perfection. It simply requires a decision, the decision that you are no longer going to live your life as a reaction to what happened to you.
I like that.
Yes, you're going to live your life as a deliberate expression of who you are becoming.
Awesome. So what is that one thing? Because we're getting ready. Time's up on us as usual. What is the one thing that most women in survival mode do not realize they're missing?
I think it is clarity. Clarity. Most women in survival mode do not realize that they need clarity. You know, as I mentioned, when you're in survival mode, you are focused on getting through the day. But you need to ask deeper questions now. Who am I becoming? What kind of life do I actually want? So that's what I mean when I say clarity. Having these questions, thinking about them, writing them down. What standards should I have for the people and environments that are around me? Because when you're in survival mode, it's as if you're in a fog. And inside that fog, we accept things we should not, So that is why we have to be clear on what is it that we want. So I believe it's clarity.
So, and while we wind down, you have something very special happening on March 25th, right here in Atlanta.
Yes.
Tell us about the emergence table and what is it?
Okay, so the emergence table is something very special. It is a luncheon, but it is more than just a luncheon. It is a curated experience for women who are ready to move to their next level, to emerge, right? So on March 25th, I'm hosting a small emergence table. It's intimate, only about 30 women. It will be in Buckhead, and I'm bringing together women for an intimate, beautifully designed gathering. We're going to be blending meaningful conversations, reflection, and community. And so when a woman walks through the door, the first thing I want her to feel is intention, that this space was really created with each woman in mind. So,
And it's safe.
and it is a safe space. Oh yes, let's not forget that.
Yes.
So yes.
All right, so where can listeners go right now to get a seat at that emergence table?
Well, they can visit my website, which is www.womenwhoemerge.com. There is an event page, and they can just click on that and follow.
All right. And so you have contacts? How can they connect with you, Dr. Karla?
Okay, my email is Karla, Karla, at khylton.com. KHYLTON.com. And my phone number is on the website as well. It is 404.
Wow. That yes2purpose.com, what is that about?
Oh, I do have another website, which is yes2purpose.com, and that is where I do my other work, so to speak. That is where I do my mental health coaching. I do some work with AI. I do ghostwriting. I make music too, Sharon. I don't know if you know that.
Okay, can I ask you what it is? Because that's probably the question, right? What it is that you don't know.
There's a lot, Sharon. But,
So where does one who's having a hard time moving into that direction start? We've got some faithfuls online, and I guess that's a question before you leave us.
Okay.
They want to find out where does one who's having a hard time moving into that direction, where do they start?
They will have to start with introspection. They will have to, I'm sorry, there is no way around that, I think. And I think journaling, that Vanquishing Monsters workbook, I'm also coming out with an emergence journal shortly, where you ask yourself the tough questions. And you take your time. You may cry. You may cry, but take your time, which is good, right? And write down and figure out what it is that you want. And as the question seems simple, but it is difficult to answer, if you really think about it and say, what is it that you want to achieve? What is your dream, right? And don't be afraid to dream big.
That's right.
Wow.
Sometimes you need, Michelle, and sometimes you just need a coach to help bring that out.
Yes.
To help guide you so that you can find what's hidden deep.
Right.
Yeah, because sometimes we're afraid to face ourselves.
Yes.
It's such a pleasure talking with you, Dr. Karla.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I, for one, will be there.
Thank
I
you.
hope many of you women join us as well.
Yes.
Emerge.com. Please check it out. I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic time. So women out there, it's time to what? It's time to what? Emerge.
Love
Right.
it.
Next
Thank
level,
you
next
so much.
level.
Next,
Give thanks.
that's it.
Thanks.
Thank
So
you.
appreciative. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. You ladies have been
It's a pleasure.
wonderful.
It's a
And you know
pleasure.
what? I have to say thank you to hubby because he's on
Oh,
the other side.
let me tell you, he is such a What's that song? He's a cheerleader.
Yeah, hubby
oh
is
my
right
God,
there.
he's right
so
there.
I'm sure he was there to support you.
Oh, definitely, definitely. That was
Even
part
out
of
the
the
men and the
emergence.
That's the part.
Part of the emergence.
And
Of
you know,
course.
so we shout you out, hubby. Keith he's amazing. I met him, and from the day I met him, I was like, yeah, good decision, right choice,
Right choice.
right
All
choice.
right, then.
So we want to
Have a
thank
good
hubby
night.
too.
I mean, I look forward
We
to seeing you
appreciate
again
it.
soon.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.